Hi there folks, we're going to look at formatting web pages using cascading style sheets. It's known as CSS. Um, there's all sorts of technical reasons why we do this, and it's very powerful once you get into it. Obviously we're not going to need all the power that CSS gives us, but it does make sense to start using it because there's some advantages it gives us later on in terms of the mark scheme for this qualification, but also in terms of being able to format web pages. So what you see in front of you is a design for a web page. I've taken this from the example that's on the system, and we'll talk about designing later. Just to begin with, I just wanted to talk about cascading style sheets. What you can see is we're going to make a title bar and a logo area, a nav bar, an area that's got content in it that will change it on each web page, and an area with an email in. And the point being that you'll notice this says template in the top left hand corner. That's because this is going to be the design for all of our web pages. This is a requirement of the course, and there's just one area that's going to change between the web pages that's called content, and you can see that I've flagged that up as something that will change by the words editable. Okay, all the sizes down the side and across the top will be more obvious when we talk about designing, but today we're just going to talk about making these boxes. So let's begin. Very simply, I'll open up Dreamweaver, and in fact on my desktop I'm going to make a new folder called, and I'm going to call it Cider Web, just so we can spot it on our desktop. I'll just kill that extension manager because we just need Dreamweaver. Okay, so you can see that I've already got some website stuff set up, but I need to relocate in that website that I'm using. So click on Dreamweaver, site, new site, Cider Web, and I'll just go and find that in the folders, which is on my desktop at the minute, Cider Web. And that's where all my content's going to be, so I'll choose that. Save. So I'm going to now make a style sheet. So here we go. File, new, HTML, create. And I'm going to begin by, well, I'll save this as file save as template. Now this isn't a template yet. I'm calling it a template because later I will use it as such, but to start with we're just making a web page called template so that we know where it is, and you'll see it's popped up in here. So now we're going to put in some content, those boxes. Okay, so here we go. Insert, layout object, div tag. We're not worried too much about this yet. I'll show you about that in a minute. New CSS rule, and it's important at this stage that we just call it an ID tag. This means it only exists, it's a unique thing in this section, in this web page, in this website, and we're going to call it title, which you'll see on here is what the top bit's called, title. And then when we choose OK, it gives us some editing. Now, the box that we've said for our title is to be 800 wide, and I think that should be 100, and 100 deep. There you go. So let's go back to our Dreamweaver and make a box that is 800 wide and 100 deep. And just so that we can see it on our web page, we're going to choose background and choose a background color that is going to help identify it. You can use lots of different colors if you want. That will cause you problems later, but we'll talk about that in the design. I'll just use some sensible colors. and apply, and OK, and OK. And there you can see my box. And you can see that it's put some words in just to give us a clue about what we're doing. OK, now down at the bottom you'll also see that it's given, because I'm in that box, it's given us a section that says you are in the div tag called title. I'm just going to click on that so you can see that it's selected, and I'm going to use the cursor key to go move over one. And then I'm going to make another div tag. And this time it's going to be for the logo, which you'll remember from our design, the logo is 214 and 100. So here we go, dead simple. Insert layout object div tag. Same thing again, use CSS rule, ID, give it a name. The name's going to be logo. That was written on my design, remember, and OK. And the box size is going to be 214 by a height 100. And OK, and OK. Now, you'll see I didn't give that a colour, which is annoying because I meant to give it a colour. But you can also see that if you look up in CSS styles here, you can see that logo is highlighted because I'm in there at the minute. And I can edit it. So if I go into there, I can edit it and choose a background colour that's more sensible. And I'll just use a different colour than the one I've already used. OK, there you go. Now, you can see that these things aren't spaced correctly because the title and the logo should be next to each other. But to begin with, we're just going to make these in order, each time going through them, clicking on it, making sure that we're on the next section over, and then inserting a layout object, div tag. I'm going to stop the video here because that's how to make the basic div tags, and we'll talk about formatting them in a minute. So what you need to do is go through and need to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 div tags, and the div tags are title, logo, navbar, content and email to these sizes. Off you go.